Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed, lab-proven to work fast, and proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
All right, listen up, cabbies. I got your assignments. Riga, 643. Wheeler, 148. Nado, 804. And all of you need to join host HP and Father Malone as they examine one of the greatest sitcoms in television history, Taxi. In Night, Mr. Walters, a Taxi podcast. Banter, 0, like your boxing record.
Night, Mr. Walters.
We're in Way Media.
Welcome back to Midnight Viewing, the horror anthology podcast. I'm your host, Father Malone. We've got a very special bonus episode now. Ordinarily, we're only covering horror anthology television, but on our bonus episodes, I like to shake things up a little bit. And in this case, we are looking at a cinema classic from 1981. That is Gerald Potterton's Heavy Metal.
Columbia Pictures presents Heavy Metal. A trip beyond the future to a universe you've never seen before. A universe of mystery. A universe of passionate fantasies. A universe of terrifying evil. A universe of magic. Heavy Metal. A step beyond science fiction.
Joining me in the Midnight View this evening are the Swamp Media Group, the creators of Space Detective, the best animated / live action / detective / Las Vegas in space movie you've never seen, but you're going to. Where can we find that movie, guys?
You can watch it at our websites right now, spacedetectivemovie.com. and swampmediagroup.com. We're doing kind of a remaster of it right now, so it's going to be available to download and stream on bigger platforms here pretty soon. But for right now, go to the websites.
The voice you're hearing is the director of that particular flick, Mr. Antonio Llapur. Hi, Antonio. Welcome to Midnight Viewing.
Hello there, Father Malone.
And the other half of this devilish duo, the Swamp Media Group, ladies and gentlemen, the star of Space Detective, Mr. Matt Sjafiroeddin.
So,
And like I said, we are discussing 1981's Heavy Metal. Now, this is an anthology film, our first animated anthology film, probably our last animated anthology film. This one barely qualifies under the horror category, except right in the center of it, there's a genius piece of horror.
Oh, God, yeah.
Before we get going on sort of our deeper discussion of the movie itself, Antonio, what was your first experience with heavy metal?
Oh, my God. You know, I mentioned this to my sister today on the phone. Maybe 8 or 9, watching at my sister's house, and it was on HBO, and it was the Harry Canyon sequence, and there was some cartoon titties. And like, those were my first cartoon boobs I had ever seen. I had seen maybe a Playboy somewhere before, but they came in cartoon form, and I got caught watching it pretty quickly. That was the end of it.
What about you, Matt? That's a common story. What about you, Matt?
that's pretty similar to my origin story, seeing it on HBO. I had older brothers who had the magazines, so I was vaguely familiar with heavy metal before the movie.
I remember seeing the trailer for the
Oh, wow. No, I don't.
in the theater and just being actually frightened by it because it just seemed so unlike. I mean, the movie came out in 81, so I was 8 when I saw the trailer. And yeah, it seemed very scary to me. But then once it got to HBO, like y'all, oh my God, I was all in all the time. I will say that before it, like you, Matt, I had one brief sort of interaction with Heavy Metal Magazine. I had older, very irresponsible cousins. And my cousin Bruce had a stack of heavy metals, fittingly enough, in the restroom. And so I went in there and saw them. And apparently I was in there for an hour and a half. Because when I came out, everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing in there?" And I was like, "Nothing." And they're like, "He's looking at the titty magazines." I'm like, "Yeah." Seeing the movie was just an amazing experience.
Well, it was legendary, like, you know, on the schoolyard or whatever. Like, dude, have you ever seen Heavy Metal? Dude, my brother saw it. He said it's awesome. You know, and they would sneak some pages from the comic or whatever. They'd, you know, sneak a comic to school or something. Because, you know, the comic had titties in it too. But that movie was legendary. And then, you know, eventually I got to see all of it on HBO. And, you know, when it was on. And I think I might have seen an edited version on like TBS or something, you know. But the first time I really got into it, I must have been in high school or something, or college, or I don't know, when they got re-released and we went to a midnight screening of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you guys had seen it the
Oh, yeah. And it was just like, whoa, this is amazing. I can't believe they don't make them like this anymore. But I remember that whole period was pretty hot, though. Like, it was too young for me to interact with, but I got it all on video when I was in high school. But like those years was like Wizards and heavy metal. And I think heavy metal is a good companion piece for American pop. They kind of a great double feature. American pop, I watched it last year on Amazon, and that's really depressing.
Oh, it's phenomenally depressing.
Like every scene in that is such a downer. Thank God for heavy metal. Heavy metal would have to be the second billing because you need to get picked up for it.
I'm glad you brought Ralph Bakshi up.
Yeah.
Because prior to heavy metal, really, he was the only game in town.
He was the only game in town.
Unless you were in France, where they had Fantastic Planet, which probably launched this entire...
Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, that kind of launched heavy metal, I think.
Yeah.
In sort of the magazine in general. Do you think that heavy metal influenced... Was it an immediate reaction? Do you think it opened doorways for adult animation? Because I recall growing up that anything that was animated or a comic book, and you guys can relate to this, I'm sure, was for kids.
Was for kids. My late sister, got rested. She used to make fun of me when I was a kid. You know, like all your cartoons and all the little toys. And I'm like, you're all your more cartoons. I'm like, we talk about this is sophisticated stuff. You know, I was in high school reading Vertigo comics, so I thought I was, sipping tea with the Queen because because it was so sophisticated.
Right.
But no, it was always for kids. I think that maybe not an immediate reaction. I think it opened the door for Akira to play in the United States.
The people who were saying that to us were so fucking wrong.
They're absolutely wrong.
That's the thing. I think we all knew too.
Yeah.
Like, just keep talking. Like, you can tell me this is for kids, but I know this is for adults. It was made by adults for adults, you dummies.
I think it opened the door more for that kind of grown-up anime. I don't think American studios wanted to touch it. Well, that stuff has been flirted with all throughout. There's always a flirtation with it, but they never really want to commit. I'm going to tell you a story right off the bat. So Matt and I had an old writing partner, this guy, Nick Creature, he writes nowadays. And Matt and I, that dude wrote this great script called The Dead Killer that I helped him out with a little bit. We developed it into an animated show pitch because we picked up a meeting at 20th Century Fox. And our partner, that dude, Nick, he had met some dude at Disneyland or something, and he was an executive at Fox Animation.
That's what it does.
1999, 2000, something like that. And he read the script and flipped for it. And then we pitched it a little bit more with some drawings. And then one day, about a month or two later, we get a package in the mail. Hey man, Titan AE came out and it tanked and I got fired. He's like, the whole place, the whole animation division got shut down.
Because of one movie, right?
He's a Titan AE because they tried to make something that wasn't a Disney cartoon. That was something that maybe teenagers could go and watch.
And don't you love Hollywood logic?
Yeah.
A movie comes out and it's bad and it doesn't do well, and suddenly that genre is dead.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you guys talking?
What was it? Rock and Rule. That was another one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Orin the Star Chaser, which was kind of like a Star Wars ripoff.
I remember that one.
It was a lot going on, but by the time Akira, I think, was the big one. And then after that was it. Because that was when the Disney Renaissance happened. Like Akira came out. And then a year or two later, The Little Mermaid. And then that was it. And it's for kids now. And it's going to be musical comedies up until Toy Story. Then it became what we have today.
Since we're talking animation, but really we got to start back in the 1970s. There was a French magazine called Pilote, which featured and was co-created by a French artist who went by the name of Mobius.
Well, yeah, everybody knows Mobius.
And then, well, you'd be surprised. And then, so 75, he co-creates heavy metal. He's one of the primary contributors to it. He created Metal Hurlant, which is the French name for it, which to me, I always assumed was French for heavy metal. It's not.
Oh, it's not?
Howling metal. A much better name.
Yeah. Everything in French is more elegant, you see.
If they had named the film Howling Metal, would we have had a heavy metal soundtrack? I
don't know. I don't think we have a heavy metal soundtrack and heavy metal to begin with, but
Nazareth is on the soundtrack.
Yeah, but I mean,
come on.
In 1981, and there's no Iron Maiden or anywhere on there, or real Black Sabbath anywhere on there, or
Sammy Hagar's on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Don Felder is in there.
So Stevie Nicks and like Journey.
That was a mistake.
And Journey.
Stevie Nicks hit the soundtrack because that was her first solo.
Was it her first solo thing?
Very first solo thing. And they bury it. It's like on the radio for 2 seconds.
I think she probably just watched a clip of the guys doing all that blow and on the spaceship, and she's like, "Oh, I can relate."
Now, here's my question: of the bands who were commissioned to write songs for the film, how many of them thought they were writing the theme song?
Oh, I'm sure all of them.
All of them, right? Like every song is named
Sammy Hagar is like the Sammy Hagar, for God's sakes, has the heavy metal song.
When you hear that song in particular, one must assume that's the title track.
No, yeah.
He's yelling it out heavy metal. Like, gotta be. Nope. No. Just in the sequence. So heavy metal attracts the attention of publishers for, at the time, National Lampoon.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was over in France trying to sell National Lampoon when he picked up a copy of it and thought, Jesus Christ, this would translate easily. It's very little dialogue, and it's all graphic, and it's all beautiful. God damn, he was right. So, 1977, we got Heavy Metal magazine. A lot of the first issues of Heavy Metal were just effectively reprints of the French, but a few American artists started getting in there. People like Richard Corbin and a writer by the name of Dan O'Bannon. He's gonna figure into our conversation later. In the first 7 issues of Metal Hurlant, he started before Heavy Metal started.
Oh yeah,
yeah, a detective noir outer space adventure, which effectively inspired Harry Canyon.
Okay, yeah,
because Harry Canyon is one of the originals.
But he wrote the Harry Canyon bit, though, right? I believe him and Len Blue.
He wrote 2 bits for the Heavy Metal movie. Those are Soft Landing at the beginning, and B-17.
Okay.
So Heavy Metal proves popular, but even more popular than that was a movie in 1978 called Animal House.
Yeah.
Got the attention of all the studios who were suddenly interested in anything Mr. Ivan Reitman, the producer of Animal House, wanted to do. And just so happens he wanted to make an animated film based on heavy metal, and they let him. Initially attempting to adapt Mobius's most popular early run of the comic, which was a character named Azrak. Azrak was a wandering warrior in a future, maybe alien wasteland, and he rides a pterodactyl, and he goes, he gets into...
I've seen those, yeah.
They're basically little vignettes through it. So their initial draft just freely adapted Azrak, and then Mobius heard that and said, no.
I did not approve of this.
You cannot use any of my stuff.
Yeah.
So all Mobius was banned, basically. So what they ended up adapting was Den, Richard Corbin's...
Yeah, the Richard Corbin
Corbin fantasy.
And the Captain Stern, yeah.
Captain Stern, Bernie Wrightson's comic strip. So Beautiful, So Deadly. That's another one. And Tarna, the final story, is an original, but really, it's just a fucking ripoff.
Yeah, isn't she descended of Azrak or something like that?
No, they changed it just enough.
Just enough, right?
It was like Arnak or something.
Arnak, yeah, that's what it was. Because, what I noticed, I have it, the little notes I took for last time I watched it, I watched the credits and I wanted to see, Mobius is nowhere in those credits.
No, yeah, because he didn't want to have anything to do.
But I'm just watching and I'm just like, Mobius drew everything.
Well,
I mean, a lot
really, they just took his style.
Yeah.
They took his style for Harry Canyon, and they took his style for Tarna.
For Tarna.
The Harry Canyon in particular is so goddamn Mobius. If you were to put any shot from Harry Canyon against anything from The Fifth Element, it'd be like indistinguishable.
Yeah. And you know what? I hate The Fifth Element.
I do too.
Yeah. I think it is absolutely beautiful.
Certain.
And the effects are fantastic.
I want to spend 2 hours in that world.
Yeah, I love that world.
Without those characters.
Yeah.
In that fucking plot line. When I sat down and the movie started, I turned to my friend and I said, if The Fifth Element is love, I'm going to burn this place to the ground. And that theater is no longer there.
Yeah, the only thing I enjoyed in that movie was Gary Oldman.
Yes.
And President Zeus.
And those aliens were good. Those practical aliens.
Yeah, the effects, the creatures were great. Yeah. And even the hot lady,
the blue alien.
Yeah. Or the stewardess is all like supermodel.
Yeah, that was really great.
But the minute Bruce Willis shows up with that dyed hair and the pink tank top, I'm like, oh no.
Now, the script, as written, interwove the 5 stories. Like I said, they were copying the initial Metal Hurlant stories, the Azrak stories. In those, you would get a few pages of Azrak and then another story and then a few more pages of Azrak. So they were making the film more serialized. So the Tarna story was going to thread throughout. I don't know when that changed. I'm assuming once they started cutting the movie together, they realized that cutting away from a story hurts the story.
Yeah.
Like an incredible amount. And this story in particular, because it's so spare. So the order keeps changing. The wraparound story keeps changing. Okay, here's something I ask all of our guests. How important is a wraparound story to you in an anthology?
That's funny because we've been kicking around an anthology as our follow-up feature. We've always kind of been leaning towards an anthology. And that's a good question because I kind of like the framing device. You know what I mean? I like being able to kind of interweave the story because otherwise it's separate. It's just a collection of short films.
Right.
Which can work if it's a theme because it works. Because I think that last Coen Brothers movie I like Buster Scruggs. I liked a lot.
I loved that movie.
And they're really kind of not connected at all. They're other besides the theme, but
I think connecting the stories in a certain way brings it all together versus just an anthology. Here's a story, here's a story, here's a story. You thread something through it all. By the end, the viewer, the audience is like, oh, wow, we're all connected. And I'm getting it. Let me watch this again now.
Yeah.
Is there an example of an anthology?
Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
I mean, Pulp Fiction, at the very least, the best movie of the 90s, right? Or at least the most lauded movie of that time. I mean, you can argue, other pictures and stuff. But anyways, everybody loves Pulp Fiction. I know I love it. I got a Pulp Fiction t-shirt anywhere I go. When I wear that Pulp Fiction shirt, I get compliments. But what I like about that picture is it is an anthology.
100%.
But everything is connected and the characters meet each other and all that stuff, And it's kind of Altman kind of does that stuff too,
Shortcuts.
Yeah, shortcuts. And even MASH to a certain degree is episodic. So rather than an anthology, it's connected episodes of because it's not really a plot in it. It's just here's 5 plots that we just make one movie out of. Tales from the Hood has doesn't it have the framing device, right?
It has the
Clarence Williams III
telling stories.
Yeah.
To these thugs who have broken into his mortuary. Yeah.
And that works because it pays off at the end of the movie too.
100% pays.
Yeah.
Because he's the motherfucking devil.
Yeah. It's great.
I did not like the movie Trick or Treat, but I thought they did it well there. They kind of had a character threaded through it. We were talking, I told you the last episode we did was Cat's Eye. That we had the cat running through each of the stories.
Yeah.
Played a part in each of it, but could have been stronger. But like almost was there because the last story was entirely about
I don't remember the 70s Tales from the Crypt. I remember
here's the thing. Amicus Films basically had the same framing device for all of their stories, which is 5 strangers are grouped together unexpectedly and then are either told stories or tell each other stories, and then they're in hell.
Yes.
That was Tales from the Crypt. It's Ralph Richardson as the Crypt Keeper telling them stories. Vault of Horror was like 5 strangers in an elevator and they get off on a floor and they don't know where they are. And so they start talking about their nightmares.
I was a big fan of like the anthology comic series and stuff too. Like, like in the 90s, they had different, it wasn't like Tales from the Crypt or anything like that, but I had beautiful stories for ugly children. You ever read that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what a great modern anthology that could make. Because I don't think I've ever heard a better title than that.
Okay. You guys are comic guys.
Yeah.
What anthology, horror or otherwise comics are, stick out to you over the years? Obviously, EC Comics.
The EC comic stuff, yeah.
Okay. But since then.
You know what I had mostly were Alien. Like the Dark Horse Alien series in the late 80s and the early 90s.
Was that not serialized? Was it?
No, they were all like, either like, 3 or 4 issue one-offs, or they were, short story collections, or they were, they were mostly like one-off miniseries or like one-shots.
So here's a question, given the current television landscape, morons. Why not throw all the Dark Horse Alien things into a series?
Yeah, I know, kidding.
Like, stop this fighting between Fede Alvarez and Ridley Scott and all these other Neil Blomkamp. I'm so tired of hearing like his aborted 5th one. By the way, the more I hear about that movie, the less interesting it sounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, the derelict ship was made of human DNA now for some reason.
Oh, fuck that.
Do that nonsense.
Oh.
Hey, can we just get back to their scary things out in the universe?
Sometimes
they'll come for you.
Well, nobody liked Alien 3 when it came out. Not even poor David Fincher, who went on to be David Fincher. But when he started, he's like, ugh. But what made Alien 3 doubly disappointing was I had read Alien Earth War.
Oh, yeah.
And Alien Earth War, it was amazing. It was a grown-up Newt and Ripley having to fight off the aliens when they got to Earth because someone tagged along. And I'm like, what? And it was great. And Sam Keith drew it, and it was fucking beautiful. And then I got that.
Too good. It was too good.
Too good.
Adapted. I would have taken the William Gibson screenplay for Alien 3, which
was
on
it?
the space station. It was Newt and Hicks, and Ripley was not in the picture because they knew Sigourney Weaver wasn't going to come back. Like, they had to get her, basically.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was like aliens rampaging through the station. Basically, if you played the Alien Isolation game, that's what it was.
Yeah, okay.
Alien 3 is beginning. As soon as they killed Newt and Hicks, I just lost it.
Yeah.
You want to hate? Why did we go through Aliens?
Yeah.
Just murder.
So as far as I'm concerned, they haven't made any more Alien movies after Aliens. I liked Prometheus, but like as an Alien film, I just thought Prometheus was interesting. But
Prometheus is a fine movie about something other than the alien.
Yeah, I know. It's just like,
okay, well, let's dive into the movie itself. Starting with what I consider probably the greatest credit reveal of all time.
A shadow shall fall over the universe, and evil will grow in its path, and death will come from the skies.
oh yeah, with
the screeching metal, and the heavy metal logo coming in. The heavy metal logo, first of all, is just gorgeous, and
it's beautiful, yeah.
But it is fantastically animated.
Yeah, Is it animated? It's not a model, right?
It might be both.
It might be both. Because there's a little mixture. Because I remember that shot at the end when the house blows up. I remember looking more terrible when I was a kid. And when I just watched it on DVD, it looked pretty good.
It does look good.
Yeah, it does look pretty good.
I mean, look, the fact is the release date got pushed up by 3 months and they weren't able to rotoscope.
Yeah,
they just went, fuck it, let's leave it. But I maintain that it kind of brings us back to reality.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Like, brings us back to the real.
But the opening of the logo is great. And then the trailer has, but like, I mean, with the Elmer Bernstein music and all that, like the thunder and all that, it's a great reveal.
You agree, Matt? Sure. Fantastic. All right. Story number 1. As I said, the final order ends up like this. We start with Soft Landing, which was written by Dan O'Bannon. It was actually, Soft Landing did appear in Heavy Metal magazine.
Dan O'Bannon wrote Alien, right? Yes, he did. And Dark Star.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And Return of the Living Dead.
So
Soft Landing, like I said, written by Dan O'Bannon. I think it was originally drawn by Mobius as well. And it's not a story at all. It was always just an impression. I think that's how Dan O'Bannon described it. It's a space shuttle opening its cargo doors. Out comes a fucking Corvette with an astronaut in it, enters the atmosphere, lands, crash lands, then hits the parachute.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. It hits the parachute after it lands.
Which is a great gag, but actually made sense in the comic. If you read the comic, the car is skidding out of control. The tires are all burst, and then he hits it. So like somehow that didn't get translated, but it makes it better in the animated film. This is Grimaldi. This is the wraparound segment they've ended up with. Initial versions of it included a carousel with the young, what will eventually be the Terrakian girl, like getting on each of the different characters that would feature into the story, including like a B-17. Would you not fucking die to go on a carousel that had a B-17 that you could set up?
Yeah, right?
Holy good Lord. That got scrapped. I think they tried a couple of others, but it ends up being Grimaldi has arrived presumably from space with a gift for his daughter, a glowing green orb, the Lochnar. As soon as he opens it up, he is disintegrated. He melts. He doesn't disintegrate. Melting and disintegration, we're going to be seeing a whole lot in this film.
There's a gag in Space Detective where the guy, he opens up a little box and he hits the button and a ray shoots out and the guy melts. And we got his souls right. The combination of the Harry Canyon and this guy, because we melt. In Harry Canyon, it just turns whatever. We'll get to it in a minute, but yeah.
Yeah, so the Lochnar begins immediately menacing the little girl.
Wait. What, Grimaldi? Yes. Looks like a pervert. He takes that helmet off. Even as a kid, I'm like, man, what's going on with this greasy guy underneath that helmet? Like, he's got like that like Charles Bronson hair with the stripe in it and a little mustache. Yeah, even again, when I watched it again, I'm like, it's greasy.
I had never considered that.
He was just like
going to change my perception forever. The Lochnar. We'll come to discover the Lochnar, voiced by Mr. Percy Rodriguez. He was a thespian in his own right. However, if he's known at all, it's because of his fantastic pipes. He is a trailer voiceover guy extraordinaire all through the 1970s. Go back and watch the Jaws trailer on YouTube. That's Percy Rodriguez.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
Watch the Return of the Living Dead trailer. That's Percy Rodriguez.
He's a Commodore on Star Trek.
And that's right. Absolutely.
On the Marshall episode, yeah.
He was in the Valley of the Dog. No, Peyton Place. He was in the Peyton Place TV series back in the early 60s. And featured here as the Lochnar. What a fucking fantastic voice.
My power infests all times, all galaxies, all dimensions.
Overall, I don't really like the wraparound segment here, but the fact that it was able to give us Percy Rodriguez speaking as a dramatic character and not just a voice hovering over images of Chevy Chase, I think it works fantastically. Any thoughts on the Lochnar here?
Is that original?
The green ball. Yes. The green ball actually is from comics. It is. It originated in the Den comic Richard Corbin's, where the boy gets zapped to the fantasy world where he's in that there is a thing called the Lochnar. It isn't the source of pure evil. It doesn't have a personality. It's certainly not a storyteller.
And soon you will die.
What always freaked me out as a kid was the way too adult drawn little girl face as she's reacting to the Lochnar.
Oh, like when she like ages like 80 years. Yeah.
Like, and she's going through all the emotions, like horror, like real anger. Like the last shot is this terrifying thing. Good Lord, man. Yeah. So Lochnar takes us into our first story. This is Harry Canyon. This is an original, quote unquote. Like I said, so story here is, once again, the Lochnar plays a featured role in it. The Lochnar is dug up by some fucking...
In the script, and then that draft in the script, that's connected to the Grimaldi one, isn't it?
Yeah, because, that's the thing. Like, the script ends up being... the movie ends up being really disjointed, but you have no idea because it's a fractured plot line anyway. But all of these stories were more intertwined as it sort of began, and a lot got lost in the translation. And that's due to budget. That's due to not enough time for the animators. You want us to do Gremlins? So we ended.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters, and Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Getting scaled down, but here's Harry Canyon. It's the story of a cab driver in New York City. New York City looks a lot like the 1970s if it had just kept growing vertically.
Yeah.
And including punks, which I think in the script, it's like they're referring to him as like a retro punk, but you could see him probably out the street. So, the Lochnar is, this is just a typical noir story, almost too typical in a way, but certainly not for when I was a kid. I thought this was a fucking genius episode. Starring Richard Romanus, big brother of Damone, and the star of Meat.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, playing Harry Canyon. That's the only voice I recognize in this particular episode. There aren't any. Oh, no. So sorry. Mr. John Candy.
Yeah, Mr. John Candy. I got that in my notes too.
Plays 2 parts.
It's a shame we lost him so young. He would have killed him like in animated cartoons for the rest of his life because he's got the best cartoon voice, man. Even if it's high or low or whatever, it's perfect. Like his dead. Does the little kid voice?
It all started when I found the green meteorite.
Oh, he's fantastic, man.
The little kid voice and the adult
and
voice.
The adult voice
and the illegal alien being hauled off here.
Yeah.
And this
he's
sergeant.
like, hey man, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
someone's after the lockdown, this group of criminals after the lockdown. The daughter of this professor who found it, a voluptuous, redheaded, blue-eyed lady, the first of many redheaded, blue-eyed ladies. In this
Well, again, our movie Space Detective, we not borrowed, but like this was a big inspiration for it, just that the noir picture with the future and all that. And I loved that voiceover. It was really well done, really well written. It was poetic, and it was dirty, and it was kind of like Harry Kane's not a great guy at all. I mean, Space Detective is more more superhero-ish, I guess, in its terms of like character, but Harry Kane's a dirtbag, man.
Yeah, he's like a Sam Spade.
Yeah.
Or more like a Dashiell Hammond.
But he's even worse. I mean, like, 'cause he just kills that girl. I mean, like, he goes, yeah, she would have killed me. And I'm like, she hadn't threatened to kill you. She's like, I'm just going to take it all and leave. And I'm like, even if fuck you. I'm gonna just, like, he's quick with that pedal, man.
He is quick with
He's quick with the pedal.
Yeah, Harry Kane is not a good guy.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you. Like, the voiceover here works in every way that the voiceover in Blade Runner doesn't. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. This voiceover in Blade Runner is just the worst.
Yeah, because first of all, Richard Romanus is doing a good performance.
Yeah.
And the script has come up to the level of noir writing. In this case, not a detective at all, just some guy. But the fact that his opening line is New York, big deal.
Yeah, big deal. And what's up that sandwich he eats? It's like mayonnaise, but it's like thick. But it's already, it's on a sandwich that's already been sitting out there.
Yeah, that's the thing that bugs me is he walks into the sandwich just sitting there. He goes to the fridge and just gets this jar of, like you said, mayonnaise, but way too thick that he then slathers on the that has been sitting out for who knows how long. Harry, what are you doing, man?
And, as a femme fatale, okay, I'm going to have to, fuck this guy in order to get what I want. But, like, feel bad for him. Like, she's got to fuck this guy.
This is the first of several depictions of ladies. Now,
this was the scene where I got caught by my sister, was when she's like, Harry, can I sleep with you?
Which is almost in the trailer. They have the moment where she's almost undone. That piqued my interest. Guys, a pretty consistent criticism of Heavy Metal, the magazine, and of course the movie, is it is wildly sexist and misogynistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly made by, guys in the 70s. I mean, stone cartoonists and animators in the late 70s. I mean, yeah, obviously. It's a magazine that traditionally, at least has always been accepted as, okay, this is teenage boys' number one favorite. This is what they start reading after they're too old for Superman. They get into this. That at least back then, that's what, the idea was.
I think that's the attitude carries over on.
Yeah. I mean,
if you listen to or read a modern review of Heavy Metal, the first paragraph will be all about how this is an adolescent boy's fantasy.
Yeah. But at the same time, it offers you also like a super feminist character like Tarna, but through a teenage boy's perspective. So why she's got to like slowly in slow motion rubber titties that she's putting on this and that. So yeah, obviously this is a product of its time. I imagine if we were to tackle Heavy Metal now, it would be a little bit more, nuanced, I guess, a little bit more progressive.
We might have a character who does more than just jump into bed with the gross guy.
Yeah.
And then continue to inexplicably butter him up. I mean, it turns out that she's going to take the money, but I don't get the idea that she got that idea until that moment.
Exactly. But right now though, like if we did something like this now, they would just be two girls. And in the name of being progressive, look at these two babes make up. I'm going to take a quick deviation, but that's how we got Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are like these queer icons that began as horny animators on the Batman show, like drawing them in their underwear together. Like there's an episode where they have a sleepover and they just drew them half naked.
Yeah.
And so it's funny how these progressive characters now came out of just like horny guy fantasies. Wonder Woman, the same thing.
Oh, I know.
He is a horny guy's fantasy.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm not saying that it's untrue.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it needs to be fixed then, retroactive.
No, you can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
If we made Heavy Metal now, like you said, it'd be wildly different.
And I'd love to, I know, am I going to lie? I'd love to give it a whack, because I grew up with that book and this cartoon, man. I love that comic. Space Detective came out of that comic directly. There was an issue we found, and it was a story about a guy and he was trapped. It was a very THX 1138 kind of like almost, but this is guy in like a subterranean dystopia, and he's trying to escape, and he's on the run, and he gets out, and he, you know, sees a futuristic city, and it was all black and white line work. And when we're talking about Space Detective, we're like, well, when we were thinking about Space Detective, initially it was going to be a short. I'm like, well, let's adapt that.
Right.
Let's not adapt. We have to get the rights. So let's just make something up. But the black and white style kind of stayed with Space Detective has this high contrast black and white style that, you know, looks like line work, and it's mixed with a bunch of color and other things like that. But for the most part, it's.
Would you call that rotoscoping?
No, because rotoscoping implies that we drew it.
You drew over the image.
Yeah, no, we didn't. I mean, Matt's in makeup, and then I grabbed, you know, in front of a green screen. He's in black and white clothes, and he's got black and white makeup on, and then I yank him into After Effects or something, and then I play around with it.
Gotcha. What's your opinion on rotoscope?
It's great. Sure, why not?
Ralph Bakshi certainly likes it.
But everything is but more things are rotoscope than not. Because if you watch any old Disney movie, those movies are all rotoscoped. Not everything, but a lot of it are. If you get footage of like Mowgli walking through this is where you see an animation cycle of Mowgli walking and then Christopher Robin walking is the same thing. It comes from a rotoscope. To begin
They're
with.
just drawing over.
Yeah. Sleeping Beauty is all rotoscoped.
Right. So this rotoscoping that we're seeing here, the Bakshi sort of really pioneered. The
Bakshi rotoscope is more accurate. The Disney rotoscope is more of a guide. So the animator will follow what the rotoscope is doing and then draw what they're going to draw. Whereas Baxi's animator is, you know, drawing Gandalf by tracing right over, you know, his actor's nose and stuff.
I think it's effective here. I mean, Soft Landing is a different kind of rotoscoping, I think, right? Because that's photographed and composite. Actually, it's pretty much the same. It's just a little more realistic.
Yeah.
The whole sequence for Soft Landing, like I just felt like the rest of the 1980s was all as far as advertising and music videos and stuff.
And that I was going to bring up that rotoscoping on the car, and you see it on the B-17,
right?
Because that's a rotoscoped model.
And then most of Tarna, all the landscapes are models that they filmed.
That they filmed, because they use that trick on the Filmation. Because Filmation, their shows from that time were all rotoscoped too. They do that on the Flash Gordon show.
Right.
They rotoscope the models of the spaceships, and it has this kind of weird where the light's reflecting, and it's like a weird kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a beautiful painting that's jittery.
Yeah.
While everything else is still.
Yeah.
So it inadvertently gives life to everything they've sort of painted out.
The best the best rotoscope anything he did was Fire and Ice.
Then the Frazetta style. Can't go wrong.
I mean, it's just beautiful. Because like Lord of the Rings is hit or miss in that movie. So that's pretty great, and some of it's just god awful. Wizards is great. But then, you know, he does that thing where he's like, I can't afford to animate anything. So here's some guys with a tint over them.
It's too much because it needs a big finale. And it's instead just a bunch of newsreel footage that's drawn over. And not even drawn over, Xerox.
Yeah.
Because that's xeriography was kind of what Bakshi was actually about. Hanna-Barbera were doing the same thing as far as recycling things. So, but, you know, he eventually got to drawing over everything, but I do think Wizards it kind of falls down into that third act just because he's so reliant on it, and I know it's budget, and I feel bad, but it doesn't make the movie any better. Did you happen to watch the short film I sent you today, Anthony?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to. I know a lot. I know a little bit about Richard Corbin.
Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Corbin is a fantastic artist. He drew the entire series of Den. He drew a lot more than that, obviously.
And what made his stuff so cool is that he airbrushes everything.
He does. Everything is painted gorgeous, which they try and replicate here to a greater and lesser extent. I don't think they got his sense of action in the models necessarily, but the color palette that they've chosen and the way they painted the animation cells here, fucking gorgeous.
This is not rotoscoped at all. No. And this is something I was going to bring up because the animation, you'll see it, and the non-rotoscope stuff has that like kind of rubbery quality to it that the human characters don't seem to have later in animation. But like during this like late 70s and early 80s, I feel like they do. Because I remember you've seen that the Star Wars, the Boba Fett animation does the same thing where the characters, whenever
kind of.
Yeah. And the Den animation kind of has it a little bit. And so does the one with the little sex bot.
In 1969, Richard Corbin made a short film. You can all see it on YouTube right now. It's called Neverwhere. And it's a live action film, pathetic guy at work who is trod upon by everyone. He receives some message telepathically to find this object, which he does. And
I thought it was a documentary. I'm like, I'll have to catch up. And I just didn't get a chance to watch it. Ah, shit.
And then he builds a little contraption. Hooks this like stone up to it, which opens a portal and everything becomes animated. The most simple animation ever, but it's fucking beautiful. And it's effectively the entire
Oh, wow.
Man. It's incredible. So to think that this was sitting around since 69, it was going to be a natural that they were making it into a film. I mean, it was successful in the magazine anyway. Like to have a blueprint like his own work is really great.
Oh, wow. I'm going to watch it. I have it in my message. I was going to watch it and then the day got away. Shit. I can't wait to see it. I think this is probably historically my favorite one.
Den.
Yeah. At least is the one I always kind of enjoyed the most. I don't know. I like this one and So Beautiful, So Deadly a lot too, because just the sci-fi in it, it's great. But the Dead one, well, the Captain Stern one, the middle of this movie is amazing. But the Dead one is just great wish fulfillment.
I maintain that the criticism I was talking about earlier, the adolescent boy.
Yeah, this is that.
Den has always been that.
And it doesn't hide it, and I think you could, like, I'm surprised The Rock hasn't gotten a hold of this and tried to like make a movie out of it or something. Cause I mean, it would play. I wouldn't want to, The Rock's The Rock, maybe,
Somebody else. There are other.
They're Jason Momoa.
They're a younger buffer.
They're young
coming up. We haven't met him. We haven't met Den yet.
We haven't met Den yet. Thank you. And I saw an article not long ago that said that every major box office draw is like well over 40.
Yeah.
There's no young movie stars other than like
Timothée
Chalamet and Zendaya. And then like, that's all you got.
Is that it?
Tom Holland, I guess.
What about the Tom Hardy fellow?
Tom Hardy's 46 years old.
Is he really? He looks good.
He looks great. He stays in shape. I like that dude on Shogun a lot. That dude Cosmo something or other.
Kramer?
No, not Kramer. But that Shogun was great. That Austin Butler dude's pretty good.
Oh, he's real good.
Yeah.
I like
reminds me of Val Kilmer.
Very much.
Yeah.
Same talent level.
Yeah. Then that's not a bad thing.
Oh, no.
30-year-old Val Kilmer was the coolest actor in the world.
Dune 2?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
He's great.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Fade Routher, man.
That first Dune was just terrible.
Which, Dune Part 1?
Yeah.
God awful.
Yeah, just
red. I hated every moment of it. Dune 2, awesome.
Okay.
I don't know how they did.
I don't know. Did you like Blade Runner? You don't like Blade Runner?
Blade? The original?
No, the 2049 Blade Runner. No, see, I didn't like it either.
Oh.
And did you like it?
No. Don't make your sequel fuck with my original. Don't change the trajectory of characters and their motives in the first movie with your sequel. Fuck you. Don't include them.
Does anybody just go watch Aliens? That's how you make a sequel to something that you're not the director of, the original one. Because Aliens might be better than Alien. It's just, they're such different movies. It's just
that's Apple. Xenomorph Apple versus Xenomorph Orange.
Yeah. But man, Aliens is so cool.
Aliens is cool, but we're not talking Aliens here. We're talking Den. Thoughts, Matt?
Well, full disclosure, I wasn't able being on this.
So I have no experience.
I haven't watched heavy metal in 15 years.
But prior to 15 years, you watched it 100 times.
I watched it a few times, yeah. I'm still trying to refresh my memory.
Kid finds the lockdown in the backyard, hooks it up to a oscilloscope or something. Lightning hits his house. He ends up in a fantasy world where he's now a giant buff guy.
Right.
And he meets a beautiful, redheaded, blue-eyed girl.
They're all redheaded in this.
Yes, it's kind of great.
Yeah, they're all redheaded.
I think that was a great story. It's fantastical. Like, it's almost like Conan, almost like He-Man. You know what I mean? It's like this sorcery, lasers, tits.
Oh man, those were my favorite too. When I was a kid, And it wasn't, it was the queen, man. Oh, man, that queen. But that's a great, like, the movie making in that scene is great because it's in the dark and he's talking. The light comes on, he's got his hands on her tits.
Better than that, because you see the hands go on the tits and you don't know what's going on.
So great, man. And then the villain is just like the the super queen, like they've got two evil queens, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's hilarious.
The lock door is mine.
Stupid bitch, get away from me.
Give it to
The
me.
lock door's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
What struck me again is the gorilla dude, Nar.
Yes.
But his outfit is that he's got a belt on with a thing covering his junk, but his ass is just hanging out.
You don't want your enemy seeing how big or small you are.
It's like the logic of like Dead does that big ass leap onto the creature, and I'm like, holy poor nuts!
There's so many good little character moments, particularly with him.
They talk of the savage beast who prowls these catacombs with a fierce hunger and sharp teeth, 6 inches long. Sorry, 16 inches long.
Or the queen's henchman going, oh, here she goes again. Hey, man, she's the queen. She can do whatever the hell she wants.
Come with me.
She's not again.
This always happens. Look, she's the queen. She can do whatever she wants.
Sure.
I really enjoyed that one. And I love Den's dialogue is great. I too am from Earth. Like it really were like you believe that's an 18-year-old. But the thing is, I think that was a big kind of thing around that time. Like there was like He-Man was up, he even didn't really look at
who becomes
the weakling, and Shazam had that renaissance during that time period. And like, so they had the TV shows, the live action show, the cartoon show. Shazam was around a little kid turning into a superhero. Thundercats, it was a little kid turned in, became that. So I think like, it's kind of neat how Den is
living in that wish fulfillment of the most animated fare.
Even the Conan show at Universal Studios. It was a kid comes in, finds Conan's sword, and becomes Big Conan.
What's going on, 80s?
Yeah.
Little boys want to be giant people. Why? Because we watched heavy metal.
Yes.
Good work.
And he's 18, by the way. He goes out of their way. They go out of the way. He goes, hey, 18 years old, and I've already had. And I'm like, oh, okay, to make sure that he's not a kid doing this.
Yeah, the tit grabbing. It's totally above board.
But the big Cthulhu monster or whatever, the big octopus lives in the thing, and it's just cool looking.
Something I didn't realize until I watched it again last night. The chant, the monster is named which is just Cthulhu backwards.
Oh, Jesus. I like the bugs, the flying bugs.
Flying bugs are great. The monks.
Yeah.
Who are beside the
pool. They're spooky, yeah.
And the pool itself, the different swirl of waters, the fucking skies in this one. Oh, yeah. It's really beautiful. It's not my favorite.
It was a popular, like after after partying all night, I was oh, they come home and watch that. Back home, I'm nobody. Here, I'm dead. Like it's just like on its own as a short film.
You could have ended this movie with Den and extended it, and I would have been totally cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
from the ridiculous to the sublime. Captain Stern. Now,
how can you not love it?
I don't. Captain Stern is based on a character created for heavy metal initially. He eventually got his own comic series created by my favorite comic book artist of all time, Mr. Bernie Wrightson. Captain Stern himself is an amoral space pirate, basically, with a little coterie of characters who are always with him. Most prominently, a fellow by the name of Hanover Fist, who is a meek little guy who can turn into a big guy. They basically go through adventures through the cosmos, fucking shit up and stealing things. That's basically all he does. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. Voiced inexplicably by Eugene Levy.
Yeah, that's the first thing I'm like, wait, that's Eugene Levy?
It's okay, Charlie. I got an angle.
But he's fantastic here. His lawyer is Joe Flaherty.
But the most we can hope for is to get you buried in secrecy so your grave don't get violated.
Yeah.
This is all SCTV people peopling this entire movie thanks to the Ivan Reitman's participation in the movie.
And of course, the great, as the lawyer, John Werner?
Oh, John Vernon.
John Vernon,
as
yes.
the prosecutor, one of the greatest voices of all time.
Lincoln Stern. You stand here accused of 12 counts of murder in the first degree, 14 counts of armed theft of Federation property, 22 counts of piracy in high space, 18 counts of fraud, 37 counts of rape, and 1 moving violation.
And what a great character. What great character design.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, each of the stories here tend to ape the style of the artist that initially drew it. And this one is definitely the most cartoony. Wrightson can be very realistic in his drawings, or he can
You go the other way,
the most cartoony. Captain Stern's chin could fit an entire asteroid.
Yeah. It's not the Frankenstein.
No.
Hey, do you think that Del Toro movie that's coming, do you think that's going to look like that?
I'm really hoping.
Oh, man. Because it's not Doug Jones doing it. It's that kid, Cub Elodie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the monster.
Oh, they got to put that Wrightson nose on him.
Yeah, because it was going to be Andrew Garfield first.
And
then I'm like, okay, well, Andrew Garfield is tall and skinny. And then it's, what's his name? My Cuban brother. What's his name? Oscar Isaac is.
Oh, as
Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah.
Well, shit. Now, here's the thing. I love the Lochnar as a character, hanging out with the Lochnar.
Yeah.
The Lochnar's participation in each of the stories is a bit iffy. In this one, for me, only because I'm a fan of the Captain Stern comic, Hand Over Fist can willingly change into a gigantic Hulk monster who smacks.
Oh, okay. But because the movie implies it's the Lochnar that does it to him.
Right. Because he's got it as a marble. He's rolling it back and forth, and then he begins to change. And that is the implication. And that's what I think everyone believes who sees the movie. That's a minor quibble, though, because this one is so much fucking fun.
It's a blast, yeah.
It's nonstop funny. I love the animation here. I love the style. And is this the best song in the movie? Cheap Trick's Reach Out? When Hand Over Fist can't fit through the porthole and just squeezes it until it, like, so he can force his way through. Beautiful.
The funniest is when he's getting when Vernon's reading the prosecutor's reading the list of charges. So arson, 15 counts of rape, and then it cuts them Stern and he smirks. It's like, that's great editing, man. That tells you what a slime ball this guy is. Or he's like, yeah. Oh, what about the kitty prostitution ring?
The preschooler's prostitute.
Preschooler's prostitute ring.
By the way, Roger Bumpus there providing the voice of Hand Over Fist.
And he's never done anything illegal.
Unless you count all the times he sold dope disguised as a nun.
Any fans of SpongeBob SquarePants?
Oh, yeah?
That's Squidward.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, it sure is. Den and Stern make you want to watch more of
Den and Stern.
Den and Stern, yeah. The rest of them, okay, they're good. Even the B-17, which is magnificent. It's a
it's just open and closed story.
Yeah, but the Stern, you want more.
Honestly, I could take most of these stories in a longer form.
Yeah,
but like B-17 benefits from it.
Yeah,
Tarna could be 5 minutes, but as far as I'm concerned, but I agree. Like this story in particular, I mean, and there is a whole series. Ladies and gentlemen, go out and read the Captain Stern comics.
Yeah.
Actually, you don't even have to leave your house. Read comicsonline.com. I'm promoting them. You can read most of Captain Stern right there.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm going to go there and read some comics. I have, I go through phases and I'll get a subscription to like the DC thing or what's the other one, the Comicology, and then I'll binge for like 2 months or something.
Okay, from Captain Stern, look, it's a really good distillation, I think, of the Captain Stern, while at the same time completely disregarding their own mythology.
I think it really works in the movie too. Like it's a funny bit, but
it's a sorbet piece.
Yeah, it's really it's neat. Yeah,
a little palate cleanser before.
And it's just all violence. It's
funny violence.
Yeah, it's all cartoon slapstick violence. There's no tits in it. It's not sexy at all. It's all straightforward,
Matt, thoughts on Stern?
I do remember his face. That's all I can remember is his face, the straining of his face.
It's a great face. It's like if you exploded Clark Kent's face out. And he looks so noble. I was trying to think of an analog for him. The closest I could come up with was Zap Brannigan on Futurama.
Yeah.
The difference, of course, is that Zap Brannigan, for all his bloviating, can't deliver, but Captain Stern can.
It's like Zap Brannigan crossed with what's his name from The Third Man? Yeah, Harry Lime meets Zap Brannigan. That's Captain Stern.
Captain Stern.
Okay, this takes us to my 100%. This is my favorite segment of the entire thing. Is it? Or is it Captain Stern?
Captain Stern looks like John Hamm.
Ooh, yeah, he did. Oh my God, cast him immediately. Live action Stern, I'll deal with it.
Yeah, like
I can CG everything else in.
And John Hamm can play asshole so well.
And now, yeah, imagine comedic asshole.
Comedic asshole, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Somebody.
The funny thing is, his Fletch didn't work.
Didn't it?
I don't think it did.
I thought he worked in it.
Did you?
I thought he was more that character than the Chevy Chase was.
Yeah, maybe.
I just think that story was boring. Now, look, in the late 1960s, early 1970s, Dan O'Bannon was doing a bunch of spec script work while he was at USC. He was working with his fellow classmate John Carpenter. They made a short film together called Dark Star that ended up getting financing, and they spun it out to a feature. Carpenter and he parted ways at that point because Carpenter thought that Dan O'Bannon was trying to steal all of his glory by taking too much credit for Dark Star. But around that time, Dan O'Bannon was working on a screenplay called Gremlins. The structure of it worked out, and it was about a B-17 returning from a bombing run over Tokyo, and they have a 2-hour flight, 2-hour movie. And at a certain point, gremlins get aboard through the tail gunner, and the rest of the movie slowly work their way forward, decimating each soldier, or rather each airman that they find, eventually leading to the ending. Now, he never fully completed that script, had just sort of put it away. When he was talking to his buddy Ronald Shusett about this movie, he was writing about a interstellar creature that can sneak aboard the ship by hiding inside a human. He didn't have an ending for it, and Ronald Shusett said, hey, you know that ending for that Gremlins movie you were doing? Just do that. Which is basically the structure of the rest of Alien. It's just the alien chasing them through their own ship. When it came time to adapt heavy metal into a movie, that's one of the stories that Dan O'Bannon suggested. So it is based on his story, but he didn't do any writing of it. It doesn't appear in the original comic at all. There's no record of it being drawn beforehand. There is now. Most definitely. There was, in fact, Heavy Metal put out a new miniseries based on B-17 just a couple of years ago. Not so.
No Mike Ploog, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So B-17 initially was going to be Gremlins. I don't know what the decision was or why they decided that it wasn't going to be feasible. I mean, I can only guess it was budget and time to animate these thousands of gremlins like swarming over the hull of the ship. So they decided instead that the Lochnar would slam aboard this ship and bring back the dead. This is our Undead EC Comics tribute, designed, as you said, by Mr. Mike Ploog, who was a fucking giant. All of his stuff is gorgeous. Name some of his credits.
The Lord of the Rings. That's really like his Lord of the Rings stuff is nowhere in that movie. But like I've seen like his calendars and all this shit. Like, kid, man, his stuff is just really cool. You can see where Peter Jackson took the Mike Ploog stuff and showed it to his guy and go do this.
I would say that you want to see some fucking fantastic artwork and design work, go Google Mike Ploog for work on John Carpenter's The Thing. He designed all that shit. He had some insane designs for what the alien would be sort of early on, when it was going to be a creature that just sat on your head and like convinced you.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It was supposed to be like a psychic projection like creature at one point, and he has designs for all those, all spectacular. You can, if you search long and hard enough, see his designs for the gremlin creatures here. There are two.
Yeah, I saw them, yeah.
There's one that's sort of a character model of the gremlin, and then there's another storyboard, which is even harder to find. I think it's in one of the original art books for Heavy Metal, of a gremlin attacking the tail gun, or attempting to get into the tail gun section of the B-17. Anyway, the gremlins don't matter. The rest of the design is by Mike Ploog anyway, including the fucking zombies, which I think in the end we get about maybe 7 seconds, maybe 10 of these zombies, and yet I can remember them so fucking vividly.
With those the glowing green eyes and
That's like 7 or 10 seconds.
You see like a close-up of a hand as it boils into skeleton form. The belly gunner zombie you don't see at all because the navigator gets pulled in there. We just see him flopping around in blood.
Oh, that's that shot is just gorgeous. Amazing. And then the blood.
I remember those undead pilots. And I'm surprised that it was only like 7 seconds.
Yeah, they're only in it for just a little bit.
That image is just burned in my brain.
But I mean, it's a great zombie movie. Like, it's a 5-minute zombie masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it would work well as
a live action thing. A lot of these would work, but this one especially. And that ending. The ending is cool because the ending is like, I'm saved. And he ends up on the island, and then all of a sudden you see a shadow over here, and then a shadow over there, and then there they are. There they are. And and all of a sudden the island is just filled with all the airplane wreckages, and all these pilots are coming out of it, coming after him and stuff. And it's just, I like in the filmmaking of it though, when it's all this exciting music, but when the pilot finally gets out of the plane, no music.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beginning. Have you guys listened to Elmer Bernstein's original score for heavy metal?
I've listened to some of it.
His score for B-17 is largely unused.
Oh, yeah.
He had a very triumphant World War II kind of, aren't we doing great up here in the air kind of a score. Think that might have been written for Gremlins, because initially it was like the bombing run occurs and we get to know our characters and then they start to. Whereas what we get here is basically the entire crew massacred during the opening sequence, sent to Don Felder's Taking a Ride.
Yeah.
It's a magnificent opening.
Yeah, it works great, man. And just the animation is cool, and just the action is neat, and it's very exciting.
And it's all the rotoscope we were talking about before.
Yeah.
But like when the bombardier gets it, I don't know about you fellas, but I always had a romantic notion about being in a B-17 in World War II.
Yeah.
If I was going to go and have to fight in World War II, I'd want to be on that plane. I feel a little differently now that I've watched Masters of the Air.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to do that.
It seems very terrifying from even just takeoff.
Yeah.
I mentioned zombies, apparently.
It's just cool. I love the glowing green, because in live action, you may not see something like that, but definitely that EC kind of horror comic.
Yeah, with the green glow around all of them.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And then the designs at the end, like is when they're on the island, like there's one zombie that slides back the cockpit glass and it's just the top part of the skull, like the jaw is falling away.
Yeah.
It's I gotta say, like you guys, I saw this movie when I was 9 years old. Up until then, if someone were to get shot in a movie or a television show, in my mind, they just fell over and were dead.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I was in no way prepared to see the radio operator being perforated in his right arm. He's holding the microphone up and it gets shot through the arm. He grabs his own arm because it hurts so much. Or not to mention just the physical toll that this movie taught me that violent death is an ugly, terrible thing.
And here's another thing. You can tell, like, the animators having a great time. Like, they're having a lot of fun in the sequence drawing those monsters.
Oh, not only the monsters, just like the guys dying.
Yeah.
Is it fucking fantastic? Even the aftermath of that, when the navigator's checking each of the guys and they each fall over in some terrible way, like all of his guts spill out onto the ground. Like, oh my God.
This must have been the first undead, World War II soldiers image, right? I mean, I can't.
First I've seen.
Can't anything prior to that.
Yeah, because World War II zombies now are, the video game bread and butter.
Yeah, big business.
Yeah,
World War II zombie. Yeah, but yeah, here it was predating all of it. Thanks to Dan O'Bannon and I guess whoever rewrote the script said, let's just do zombies.
Yeah.
I can draw skeletons. That takes nothing. You want me to draw this segmented creature? No. B-17 is, like I said, it's an aperitif, very brief, and brings us to.
But it's like a perfect little comic book short story, though.
You're right.
Like, it's like 3-4 pages of just like, oh man, this is great. Oh, fuck, it's over. It's fucking good. Let me read it again.
I do want to see that Gremlins.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of just did that Shadow in the Cloud movie with Chloe Grace Moretz like two years ago. It was fucking terrible. Oh, yeah. It's god-awful. There's so much labyrinthine plotting, which should just be, we're on an airplane with a fucking monster trying to kill us. But to see the Dan O'Bannon Gremlin script.
Yeah, that is interesting.
$2 movie. Oh, boy. Now, if you say the word gremlin, you're talking about a Mogwai.
Yeah.
Prior to 1984, if you said gremlin, if you knew at all what anyone was talking about, it originated in World War II. The pilots would say any malfunction that was unexplained was called...
That redhead. I remember having such a... And that Gremlins too. I had the biggest crush on that redhead when I was a little kid. Oh, Billy with the cigarette. And I'm like, man, the girl's fine. But anyway, it's just...
Blue-eyed redhead fan.
And oh, yeah, and that's it. You know what was great too in that movie is John Glover. Yeah.
Yes. As Donald Clamp.
Yeah, Donald Clamp. Oh, man. And Christopher Lee.
My favorite joke in that movie? You've reached men's room, mister.
It's like just so bizarre, that movie, dude. I love it.
B-17 transition, Lochnar. Where we going, Lochnar?
We go from there.
Where?
We go from the B-17, it blinks, right?
No, it's the guy in the jungle surrounded by zombies. It becomes a vector graphic.
Becomes a vector graphic on the spaceship.
Right. And then change the channel to the Pentagon, which is our first computer-generated image here.
Yeah. But what cool. Like, that's a really good, neat transition. Man. That's a really cool transition.
In 1981?
Yeah. That was
the greatest of all.
Yeah.
Now, this story is based on a series in Heavy Metal Magazine by Angus McKee. It is, I'm going to urge, if you like this segment of the thing, you have to read the original. This one, the story represented in the film is maybe like, I don't know, the first few moments of that entire book. The book is an existential pondering of the universe and man's place in it. It's these humans from Earth who hitch a ride on this ship and then they travel the galaxy meeting all these intergalactic weirdos. It's pretty fucking fantastic. And like I said, they just take the initial couple stories here for the film, changing almost everything except the robot, which is designed exactly the same in both. The overall design is beautiful. The ship is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I love that ship. That bit, like the ball with the group with the pink in it. Yeah.
When it's hovering over the Pentagon, it's just gorgeous. Like, it looks like a 70s album come to life.
Yeah, that's what it does look like.
Getting here is basically a tale of a robot who repairs robots, picking up a malfunctioning robot who's a higher up in our Pentagon, and transporting him back for repair, and they accidentally suck up a secretary.
Another redhead.
Another blue-eyed redhead.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got a Lochnar. See, that's the other thing.
See the Lochnar on her.
Lochnar pendant.
Is the most ethnic person in the whole movie is her, I guess, because she's
Jewish.
Because she's Jewish.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. Progressive 80s.
Very progressive. Yeah. Not at all stereotypical.
No.
Everything she's saying.
No, not at all. Are you circumcised?
Great, whatever it is. It's funny. John Candy's doing the voice of the robot here. He's fucking great in it. But the stars of the of this episode, 100% are Zeke and Edsel, who are the pilots of the ship. Voiced by Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis.
It's okay, man. If there's one thing I know, it's how to drive when I'm stoned. It's like you know your perspective's fucked, so you just gotta let your hands work the controls as if you're straight.
And Dave Thomas.
Yes.
Which his voice is the one that shocks me here. He's the Eugene Levy equivalent here because he's doing this stoner voice.
Yeah.
I do not expect to come out of Dave Thomas.
Oh, typical robot. The first Earth chick we see in 10 years, and he's got to make a play for.
Zeke and Edsel get out some plutonium Nyborg. Man, oh man.
And I just remember they take out that snow machine, and it's like they just feel all over that floor. And I'm watching it, even when I was watching it this morning, he's doing it, and Zeke, right, the green guy, he steps in it. I'm like, man, he's gonna snort that thing, and he just stepped in it. And this is when I noticed that I'm watching stuff as I'm older now. And I'm just like, as a kid, you're like, oh, no, these drugs. I'm like, just put that drug on a toilet seat. And something, you're watching something else.
I had the same reaction because he's laying out two parallel lines. The machine is pumping out two lines at one time. And I'm like, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he starts crossing over.
Yeah.
So now the lines are all scraggling weird. Like, what were you doing? Not a concern when I was 12.
No.
If there's a stoner sequence in this movie.
This is it. It's funny because it's like, and When it reacts to it, it's not like they're coked up and like all jittery and everything. They're just stoned.
They're on plutonium Nyborg.
Yeah, so who knows what it does? Yeah.
And we're treated
It's good Nyborg, man.
And some of the best animation in this.
Yeah.
You know, little nods to other sci-fi. We got the Starship Enterprise races past the window at one point.
The space city they dock in is like super like
Cue Sammy Hagar.
Yeah. Everything looks like that after that movie. Like that design aesthetic is all over Blade Runner. That design aesthetic is all over Space Detective. It's all over like Judge Dredd. It's all over pretty much anything cyberpunk that came out. And
overcrowded.
Oh yeah.
Everything on top of everything. Advertising over every inch of everything.
And little jokes and everything, which I really like too.
And the big joke here is, you know, they have this gigantic port that they can get their tiny ship through that they smash into the wall. In the comic, they're watching another ship and making fun of it.
What I noticed was cool, like back to the filmmaking of it, is how the scale changes. So like at first they like this giant ship hovering over the Pentagon, and then by the end of it, it's this tiny little thing floating into this massive, giant space Type 1 civilization structure.
You'll notice some of the wonky editing here because the robot and the girl get off the ship before they've landed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: the order, and I'm sure you read the script. The order initially was this story came before Hanover Fist, the Captain Stern story. In fact, their mission was to pick up Hanover Fist and deliver him to the space station.
See, now if you look at it this way, rearranging the movie back to that script and kind of like intercutting it, you could get a Pulp Fiction type picture that jumps around and crosses over. Like, I don't think, I think some studio executive said, what are you, crazy? You're going to confuse everybody.
Yeah,
and that's what happened. I don't even know if it wasn't playing. I just think someone said, you're going to confuse the audiences. But I mean, it was, 1981. That's the beginning of the focus group anyways. Maybe if that movie had come out 4 years earlier, it would have been like that. When they were, somebody were giving Bakshi money into his.
Initially, there was a sequence called Neverwhere Land that got mostly animated. That was between. It ends on B-17, I know. But it's basically like the Lochnar at the end of a story is like sort of primordial, and it becomes very like beautifully animated. And it tells the tale of evil from the dawn of time to World War II. So it shows like the crucifixion of Christ, and it shows like Jack the Ripper, and it's like all these horrible things. And then it ends in like Holocaust imagery, and then pans up, and then the B-17s fly over.
It's funny because Fantasia cuts out. I think there was a sequence of like with the dinosaurs and all.
Oh, which I think when they did Fantasia 2000,
they kept reincorporating. There you go. There's an anthology.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
39. I'm not going to do it. But we're only doing this one because B-17 squeaks us under the horror anthology.
And I'm glad it's not an animated one because I just love talking about cartoons. The fact that this movie exists is a miracle because we haven't had any, we got that Heavy Metal 2000. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch that.
Have you tried?
Is it watching?
It's Tarna, over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours of Tarna that's not hurt.
Beauty animation. And like a fucking piss poor script.
I've watched pieces of it online over the years. I was like, I can't watch this crap.
Do you know that in 2009, David Fincher took it?
Yes, I did.
That fell apart. Did you also know that they did make an entire series and it came out in 2019?
Love, Death, and Robots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah. Love, Death, and Robots is Mrs. One. It's not sexy at all.
Are there fantasy stars? It's all sci-fi, right?
It's all sci-fi.
Yeah, so I never would have guessed it was heavy.
Yeah.
Because to just take one element, one genre, and say this is heavy metal, I'm glad they called it something else, obviously, because...
Well, yeah, that's probably because I still think the brand is viable. I think you could still make a movie. I confess that I haven't read the Grant Morrison era at all. And I love Grant Morrison. Every comic is, for some reason, I just haven't read that. So I don't know if it's any good or, his other sci-fi is great. So I was assuming that, and his fantasy stuff is pretty good too. I haven't read his Santa Claus yet. That's the only thing I haven't read of his.
I think we got to talk about Kevin Eastman here for a second.
Kevin Eastman, the great Kevin Eastman.
Is he great?
To me, he is. He created the Ninja Turtles. And I count myself.
You don't think Peter Laird had anything?
Oh, him and both of them. Don't get me wrong. It was a 2-man operation, but for the story's a sad one. Like how they kind of Peter Laird had, but difficulty and shit. That Toys Who Made Us, there's an episode on Netflix. It's about their reunion. Oh, tears. It's beautiful. My nerd hipster moment. I don't really try to ever be like that, but my one is, I'm like, oh yeah, man, black and white Ninja Turtle comics. Like, I liked them before they had a cartoon show.
Yeah, before they were pizzas.
Yeah, before they were.
Bunga, dude.
And to put this to this day, if there's a Ninja Turtle in front of me, I'm going to watch it. I love those characters. It was just something like they got me at 9.
I will maintain that he's great in that he, in 94, saw heavy metal failing and said, I'll buy that. And we've still got heavy metal.
Yeah, to this day because of
the magazine. It's not monthly anymore, but it's
quarterly or something.
Yeah. But I don't care as long as we're getting new art from from these mad geniuses.
But as a horny teenager, man, it was great, man. It was awesome. The minute the guy behind the counter figured you were old enough to buy heavy metal, you got it. Because they didn't guard you for it, but they wouldn't sell it to you if you were a little kid.
Do you think heavy metal has any appeal to horny adolescents now, considering what is available to them online? And do you think that might force heavy metal away from the sort of, it's just for boys?
Well, maybe because the kids, I think that. I think kids can discover it. I think the music had a lot to do with it too. The fact that there was a magazine that had comics and the magazine was called Heavy Metal in the 80s and 90s, you were going to get the kid who liked heavy metal music. Inadvertently, one was always going to pick it up. Oh, what's this all about? And half of those kids would buy another one. What makes it relevant? What made it then? I think it was the fact that it was horny. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think that definitely swelled its ranks. I think
now
I think there are discriminating people reading heavy metal too. I mean, go back and look at a lot of those issues. Yeah, there's plenty of the sword and sandal, big titted girls.
But I think that's what brought me in as a kid.
Right. Of course. It was an equal appeal.
Yeah.
And that remains.
But it's funny because, I keep thinking about what I want to make as, our next movies and stuff. And I keep going back to wanting to do something that's a naked fantasy sci-fi mashup. Not necessarily like, Star Wars is for everybody, but like, Flash Gordon was, pretty sexy. There's got to be a way to do that with it not being boorish and misogynistic.
Well, let's see what they do with Barbarella. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, Barbarella was bad in the 60s. It's not a good movie. It's just pretty.
It is very pretty.
It's a beautiful movie. The imagery is fantastic. There's always a need, I think, for adult adventure and fantasy and sci-fi. I think there's a need for it. I think Zack Snyder keeps trying to do it. Lately poorly. When he started out, not so much. He was great at it. 300's fantastic. Watchmen's fantastic. Like that first Rebel Moon wasn't very good. And I haven't seen the second one.
Was it any good?
No. And I hate it because I like
the grain.
And I don't think
you understand. They need space grain.
They need space grain.
They came here in an interstellar craft because they want your wheat.
His movies are gorgeous, though. I would like to see him do a heavy metal genre movie with maybe somebody else writing it.
Somebody should write a script and then he should make that script.
Yeah, he should have
and be involved in the development at all.
But anyways, going back to the B-17. No, going back to the what we're in the Beautiful but Deadly.
You can get it as a collected book. In fact, you can read it at Read Comics.
Read Comics on, yeah, because I always when I was younger, I liked that one because it was all these guys are getting high and this girl's got is sexy. And she's not completely naked, so I kind of want to see what's going on even more. And
she is completely naked.
Oh, yeah, she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's right, when she's laying down. And the guy's like, and then his hand spins around like a little dildo. I think it was neat that Ivan Reitman invested so much of his new capital in this.
Yeah, and he would eventually do, I'm not vouching for the quality of the movie, but Space Jam, he pushed through.
Yeah.
Even after making this film, and it was a nightmare. Even after Robert Zemeckis told him, don't do it. It takes forever and you're just going to be frustrated and angry. He continued his commitment to animation. And at that time, hands up.
But, Robert Zemeckis made a masterpiece, though.
Oh, clear.
Because that Roger Rabbit, whenever I think about that movie or I see anything about that, I'm like, it was magical.
Not only the filmmaking, that script is perfect.
It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Every line
leads to something else. He lays everything out for you, and you have no idea until the end. It is genius.
And Eddie Murphy is still kicking himself to this day for turning it down. But would it have worked with Eddie Murphy?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. If you're playing a character and Zemeckis was sitting on him a little bit.
Yeah. And it's funny that, like, it's not successful outside of it. Like, the Roger Rabbit cartoon universe never took off. Like, it is what it is, and that's fine.
It works because it's live action.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cartoons, look, the cartoon that starts Roger Rabbit
is great.
Is very
Yeah.
But then the rest of it, it's just him being brutalized.
Yeah.
So once you start watching more shorts that are just based on watching him get the shit kicked out of him, I'm not interested. I like Roger.
You spend 2 hours with him and you like go on this journey with him where he grows and becomes brave and this and that.
Yeah. Plus, I don't buy that he's such a fucking dish rag because he's got Jessica.
Exactly. Like, come on. But it's a similar pairing to the robot and the secretary.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's just the little guy and the bombshell. It's a great cartoon pairing. It really works. Works with in the animated Addams Family or like the old comic strips. Gomez is usually more diminutive than
Squat.
Yeah.
Even, yeah. Besides the reed that is Morticia.
My stories are nearly complete.
He had 5 stories locked, right? No matter who I run into, I'm just going to spiel it on the people, and I got to tell them 5 tales.
Like he's
is that one good? Is he testing out material?
I don't know.
Turn out the Lochnar. He's just a stamp like Aspire. He's trying to get on Marin.
He's got a couple generals coming up in LA and he wants to make sure his pitches are all solid.
Yeah, he's got to work on the new material. He's got a Netflix special coming up, man. Got to lock that all down. Tarn.
Awesome boobage. You know, like South Park did a whole thing just based on Tarno. Did a whole sequence or an episode on it too, and they tried to say everything. And I think they missed the mark and they hit the mark at the same time.
It's not my favorite story.
It's not. It's kind of long. It takes forever and like doesn't make a lot of sense.
I wish they had begun it because, as you said earlier, the middle portion of this movie fires like fucking gangbusters.
Yeah, it does.
It's hit after hit. Den through the previous tale.
But this is all just basically it ends with it just so it can link back to the framing device of the little girl.
And who cares?
Yeah.
I didn't need her at all.
No.
This movie could have just had the Lochnar fly in from outer space and address me, the audience member, go, hey, fucker.
Yeah.
I'm evil.
Yeah.
And here's how you lie.
I think Tarna, if it was a fleshed out story, there's the world is interesting. The universe is interesting.
Agreed. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's pretty, but they spend also 5 minutes of her flying around.
A lot of time flying.
A lot of time
fetish shotting. Not only the actual fetish shots of her getting dressed, but like the disrobing and swimming across the moat and then climbing the stairs slowly.
And it's just even like putting on a sleeve. It takes 25 seconds to just go up, half a minute to go up, and then her put it on, and then 10 seconds on. Every shot is like 15 seconds too long. We're going to talk about the male gaze. This sequence is the male gaze.
100%.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Everything you were complaining about heavy metal, here it is. Wrapped up in a bow.
And the funny thing is, she's not even that good at her job.
She's a poor Tarakian.
She is. The minute she gets on the thing, she flies around for a little while. The minute she goes into the bad guy's domain, she gets captured. Like she flies into the thing and immediately she's in a net. And the guy whips her naked. Wow, big me, my whip. And he beats the shit out of her.
The counter argument has always been, but Tarna is a strong female character. And I would say, who is captured, stripped, possibly raped, definitely whipped.
Absolutely right. They're just knowing, like, thank God we didn't have to endure this. Thank God the Game of Thrones guys weren't behind it. We would have gotten that too. But so this poor thing has to go through all that, and then the creature saves her. The creature saves her.
Yeah,
like even like
that bird is the hero of the piece.
You make this poor character like this horny thing, the whole thing, and you don't even make her a badass at the end.
The fetish shots we were just discussing, they're fine. I mean, I'm not going to complain as a young male.
Exactly.
But particularly now as a lover of cinema and cinema music, this is really the segment where we get to hear and kind of luxuriate in Elmer Bernstein.
Yeah.
Elmer Bernstein of the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah. And it's a weird thing how his career, like I remember learning this from my Animal House, a laser disc that I had in high school or whatever it was. And the audio commentary on it from Landis talking. Elmer Bernstein was this prestigious guy who's kind of getting older. And then I'm like, can we get him? And he comes in with this magnificent score that makes that B movie into an A movie. Like, it's just a horny college movie, but it has that music in it. Like, it's really like expensive sounding.
It's collegiate.
It's collegiate. That's what college sounds like.
Right. We've heard that score replicated dozens of times since. And the great thing about the genius thing of it is that he hires Elmer Bernstein and says, don't make it a comedy score.
But but when he does do a comedy score in Stripes, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that score was used in every fucking Columbia trailer for the entirety of the 1980s. If you wanted to signify fun, it was Elmer Bernstein's score from Stripes.
But it was an educated score. When we went, I'm going to go back to our own shit, toot our own horn, but I'm going to build up our composer, Mark Sjafiroeddin. Matt's older brother, my older brother too, basically at this point. He did our Space Detective score, but when we sat down and do it, I go, I want the characters to have themes. I want this Zizzo to sound like this, and he wrote little themes for everybody. And I first became aware of that, not even Star Wars. He said in Stripes as a kid. I'm like, every time Bill Murray comes on the screen, he's got that loser music. And it's just wonderful. And it carries over. He does Ghostbusters.
Yeah, sure does.
And it carries over into Ghostbusters too. Like,
Elmer Bernstein is the king of the woodwinds.
Yeah.
A lot of flutes.
Yeah. But the loser music, I remember telling Mark that. I'm like, give me that kind of quality. Whenever Zizzo's on screen, I want this loser music. Elmer Bernstein. The fact that he had like this career renaissance, all because Ivan Reitman and John Landis, like, we're fans. It's neat. It's neat how that's how the movie business should work. That, like, a guy you grew up loving and you're making a movie, you can hire him to work with you.
You're learning from him.
Yeah.
While providing, not only adoration, but like a chance to do great work. Elmer Bernstein did some of his best work in the 1980s.
Yeah.
This man was fucking massively busy during the 1960s. So, thank God Ivan Reitman. Thank God John Landis. Yeah. But what's funny to me is now, having heard the entirety of the score, you realize how very little of it there is in the film. I mean, anything with the Lochnar, certainly of the entirety of the den sequence, because there's no reason to cut it.
But it's beautiful, man. It's really neat stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like,
that's what makes the Tarna sequence work. And they're not even like, they're gazy and they're objective, whatever you want to call it, but they're not horny. So even as a teenager, I'm like, just fucking get on with it. Show me your titty or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even fun.
I agree with you. Like, I was never turned on by Tarna in that entire sequence. It's like, it's the one with the most male gaze, and it accomplishes the least effect.
Yeah.
Because any of the previous horny sequences in the movie are way more sexy.
Because
it's like classy, not classy.
or dead, where the laughs cover up the fact how horny it is, because you're looking at it through the eyes of this kid. It works because it's through the eyes of a teenager.
Right. It's the most meta of any of the stories, because it's laying it out for you like, I am a horny teenager.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm living my horny teenager life. Like, this isn't wish fulfillment in any form of subterfuge. Pretty bad.
What I would have liked is better rock music. Like, yeah, there's music in it, and I guess everybody was huge at the time.
Right.
Cheap Trick probably being the best band. There's a Blue Oyster Cult in there. But there's no Zeppelin. There's no Sabbath.
I think they were trying to go with bands that were current.
I guess, but there's no Iron Maiden in it. Movie coming out in 1981 called Heavy Metal that doesn't have Iron Maiden or Judas Priest in it.
Bit of an oversight.
None of that music in that movie slaps like that, except for the Cheap Trick sequence.
The Cheap Trick sequence and the opening of B-7.
Yes.
Those are the two. Yeah. Those are the two songs that I'll listen to sort of still off of the same.
But you know, the funny thing,
the bit I don't care for.
And it's too bad because other weird segue, but the Taika Waititi Thor movies had use of the Zeppelin music, and for some reason it doesn't really work very well in them.
Agreed.
It's
too obvious.
And it's not cut to it.
Right. It's just like, here's a cool thing on top of it.
And I'm like, if I had the blessings of Odin himself to give me a Led Zeppelin song for my movie, I would not sleep for a week until I had every single beat of that movie cut to my movie, because
when you get that chance,
the trailer was better than the movie. At least with use of the Zeppelin. It's just the use of the Immigrant Song in School of Rock is better.
I will say that the music placement in this film, while some of the songs have not stood the test of time and some of the artists are kind of questionable, I do think that musically they choose pieces from the songs that really because like in So Beautiful, So Deadly, that actually I think has the most music cues in. In fact, there's a whole other trick song in there that we only get one little slice of when they are being sucked into the ship.
This is a good kind of like subject here to wrap the movie up with, but like what I like about heavy metal, or reminded me about it when I watched it again, was something that movies lack. Heavy metal was cool. Heavy metal was a cool thing. If you had an older brother or an older cousin or something like that, they knew about heavy metal, and it was a cool thing that like teenagers and college kids got to go and they only showed it at midnight, and like, you know what I mean? And, you know, your mom would get pissed if you were watching it. It was cool and it was dangerous. Movies aren't cool anymore. Like, it's superhero movies. And I love superheroes. I love that genre, but ain't cool about superheroes. The whole point of superheroes is that they're not cool. Star Wars was cool when I was a kid, but it's not very cool now. Everything is nerdy. So like where is the edge at without it being, you know, edgy?
The cool is part and parcel with the music.
Yeah.
It's part of the attitude of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that it can be recaptured, because part of that thing that we
everybody was big, at least in that movie at the time. Everybody was a name.
Yeah,
the music is what they sold.
Oh yeah,
as the stars of the movie.
Well, what's funny is, of course, that the music would be the movie's undoing, because part of the mystique, the part of that cool factor, is that it never came to videotape, because the rights issues with the music couldn't be resolved, because nobody was thinking about home media, because there was no idea that it was happening. So each individual deal with each of the artists couldn't get it on video. It wasn't until 1996. Thank you, Kevin Eastman, who actually put the deal together and got us the movie.
Well, that's when that re-release with cinemas happened and everything.
Yeah.
So I was my first year of college, first and second year of college. Yeah.
You think about heavy metal today, like you.
Are there cool bands now?
There's not a lot of cool metal or rock bands out there right
now.
No,
I imagine a new heavy metal would be pretty much drenched in hip hop, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Harry Styles.
Something new. I mean, that was the thing. Like, all of those songs were new. That was, you know, heavy metal was a new genre at the time. Like, it was all just bubbling up, and it was kind of lightning in a bottle.
I think that the way to approach it now is, rather than drown it in current music, is drown it in classics. Can be the weirdest reference I think I'm ever gonna make. I follow Justine Bateman, Mallory.
I follow her too.
You follow her on Instagram, okay? So she's a TV director and she's an anti-AI crusader and all this shit.
Yeah.
But she made a point about something was being recycled or whatever. She goes, here you go, another example of the fact that you're just going to be living only with 20th century pop culture for the rest of your life. Like everything that our culture uses comes from the 20th century. Marvel, 20th century. Star Wars, Marvel, 20th century. Even Harry Potter was published in the late 90s, you know, like.
And everything AI is drawing from is from a fucking catalog of images from the 20th century.
I just like the movie was a big influence on me. The comic was a big influence on me. Like I wouldn't have made the movie that I made without heavy metal. Like just from the rock and roll kind of attitude of the film, where where we kind of Space Detective is, it's what it is, because that's how we could make it. It might have been only a cartoon if we had all the money in the world, or might have been only live action. I don't know, but it is what it is, and it looks what it is because of heavy metal. It's got this mix of sci-fi and culture and sexy girls and all that kind of stuff. That comic, it was like I read comics all growing up, and heavy metal was like when I got an issue of it, it was kind of a treat because it was going to be different. It wasn't going to be the usual American thing. It was worldly.
And it was wildly rereadable.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I could pour over one issue of heavy metal for a year.
Yeah.
And back then we were getting them once a month. It was crazy.
And the funny thing is my comic shop, I don't think ever carried it. You had to get it at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, you had to get it at 7-Eleven up near the Playboys.
Yeah, up near the Playboys. And
there's a deep well of stories there too, I think. Like there could be more heavy metal movies or a television show, series. There's still something there.
Well, absolutely.
People like.
What drives me crazy is they're like, let's do a new movie and write a whole new screenplay. Like, if you're going to make an anthology, they're already there. You already have the rights to them, for instance.
And like and the fantasy, you don't get fantasy anywhere because it was, we were in a sci-fi culture back then.
Oh, yeah. Fantasy was.
Yeah.
Sci-fi was hard to find.
Yeah.
Fantasy, you were good luck.
And again, it was for grown-ups. And for a teenager, that was neat. For a college kid, it was like something for me, man.
And something cool.
Yeah, something cool.
This movie is definitely cool. And I think that's where we're going to wrap things up here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining us here on Midnight Viewing. And thank you once again to Swamp Media Group for joining us here for this lively animated discussion. Antonio, where can people find you? What are you working on? What do they want to get in touch with you? What do they want to see your stuff?
So you want to head over to swampmediagroup.com. You can find us at Swamp Media Group on Instagram, spacedetectivemovie.com. You can learn all about Space Detective there. You can watch the movie there. You can order a t-shirt with a gift and use the dough. We're currently working on a couple short films right now. One's called At Living Ben, stars Matt as a gentleman who gets bit by a zombie and live streams the whole thing. So once he gets bit, you see him dying over the course of like 45 minutes. And there's some really cool internet stuff and, comments on modern society and shit. And there's a pretty good sequence in there with Father Malone. That's pretty good.
Yeah, despite that, you should watch it.
And we have another short film called Gin, starring Matt. Hey, you want to tell them a little about that?
Dude stuck out in the desert carrying a box. There's a voice that's able to open the box. It's very Twilight Zone-ish.
Don't give it away. Yeah, that's enough.
It's pretty cool.
It's a good one. You're gonna have to keep your eyes out for it. I'll be advertising it here when it does.
And then we're gonna start up our next feature probably by the end of the year next year sometime. Yeah, we're pretty excited. Getting back into it. That COVID, let me tell you, that COVID knocked us out for a couple of years. Not that we had it or anything, but it shut everything so down that it took a few years just to jumpstart back up.
But here we are.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, you're going to find links to Swamp Media Group here in the, comment section, I guess? Something. I don't know. To check below for the links to Swamp Media Group. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us here on Midnight Viewing. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.
Midnight Viewing, the Horror Anthology podcast, is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Our theme song was composed by HP with an assist from Donald Rubenstein and Erica Lindsay. If you want to hear these episodes early and commercial-free, become a patron over at patreon.com/FatherMalone. Not only are the episodes up early, but we have extended interviews and bonus podcasts where we spotlight the best episodes of horror anthologies from every series. But if you just like the show and want to help, please share it with your friends and give us a rating on your favorite podcatcher. Together we'll keep journeying through the places that are just as real, but not as brightly lit.